The new Destiny armor system is out, and I guess it's not technically new anymore. It's quote unquote old at this point. It's old news, 2 weeks old. Might as well be ancient history, right? But it reminds me a lot of something we once saw before. Now, if we're going way back into the heydays of Destiny 1, there is a very big similarities between the two. In Destiny 1, to upgrade your armor, okay, you had to use, or weapons, you had to use motes of light or ascendant energy. In Destiny 2, you either use enhancement cores or corrupted enhancement cores, depending on what level you are. Now, both these materials in both games are an extreme pain to get. And I know a lot of people might say, well, it's actually not that hard to get enhancement cores. All you got to do is play the game, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever you say, but at the end of the day, I've rarely gotten my enhancement cores back to what I've spent to upgrade my armor. So that's just purely false, and I think most people agree with me on that. In Destiny 1, though, the main difference between that and current day age is that it definitely seemed a lot harder to get decent pieces of armor in Destiny 1, which I don't remember if they were static rolls or not. I don't believe they were, than it is in current day Destiny 2. Well, was current day Destiny 2. Just 2 weeks ago, to me, the armor system was pretty much useless. I had all of my, or 3 weeks ago now, whatever it is, I had all of the armor I could possibly need. I had everything that everyone went for, high resilience armor. I was a warlock, didn't really need mobility. Discipline was where I was at. So high discipline, high resilience, that was all you needed. In current day, though, because they've changed all of our armor assets and how they work, now it is a situation where you need to focus on super, weapon, and maybe one other if you're lucky, but for the most part, you want to get 200 in super, 200 in weapon, so you can constantly spam the two. In Destiny 1, it wasn't so much of that circumstance, but it was more of the situation that Destiny 1 was just a pain to grind armor for in general. And with the introduction to the tier stats in Destiny 2, it brings that feeling back in a mass amount. Now, in original vanilla Destiny 2, you just get a lot of your exotics by doing public events, and that was it. A lot of people probably don't even remember that, because if you're like most people, you stopped playing at vanilla Destiny 2 and picked it back up when Forsaken happened, or whenever an expansion happened, and tried your best to skip the Curse of Osiris and the Dark Below, or no, Dark Below was Destiny 1, I don't even remember. But the Curse of Osiris and the next expansion after that, maybe it was Shadowkeep, that sounds about right. But overall, the armor systems feel very similar, to where the materials you get aren't exactly just raining on you on a consistent basis, and if they are, feel lucky. And the armor itself is, if you get one bad piece, it can really destroy your build. The main difference I'm seeing now is that it seems a lot harder to get a tier 4, 3, or 5 piece of armor than it was to get any sort of material in Destiny 1. Let me expand on this a bit. Destiny 2's new armor system, I like the idea. I think it's a decent idea. I don't like the execution on it because I'm very confused. Does Guardian rank matter, or does it not matter? Does light level matter, or does it not matter? Do they both matter and they're just not telling us because Bungie's trying to keep us confused? See, I haven't been able to figure it out. At this point, I've been grinding Guardian rank to try and get better tier armor, but I haven't really noticed a major difference in that. And when it comes to raids and stuff, the boons don't really seem to do too much to change your armor, and when it comes to fire teams, op, pinnacle ops, and solo ops, the boons do absolutely nothing to change what kind of tier armor. It tells you what your maximum light armor you're going to receive as, and that's about it. And it seems like it's pretty much static at that amount. So let's say you're at 190, you're trying to get to 200, you have the highest piece of armor in your inventory is 192, your allowed amount that the armor will drop at is like 195. That doesn't even make 100% sense to me. And after that, it doesn't matter how much of the boons you put on, how little you put on, as long as it's enough to boost it up to the maximum required or available light possible, that's all that matters. I haven't seen it affect the tier of armor. I haven't seen it affect the quality of armor you get or any of that. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, feel free to tell me in the comments. But that is what I have seen. Now, this is a little different from Destiny 1, obviously, because in that situation, I'm pretty sure it was you get to grind everything once a week, like Prison of Elders, raids, so on and so forth, Grandmaster Nightfalls, and that was it, versus now it's got a continuous grind, but I feel like that continuous grind has kind of dampened the situation we have now. Because you can continuously grind it, it no longer makes it how long and how many times do I have to grind this once a week. It makes it how many times today do I have to grind this activity to possibly even get a tier 3 drop, and it's on repeat, which decreases the possibility of you actually getting what you want, in my opinion, by quite a bit. Now, a lot of people said that it was too easy to get good pieces of armor before. I could agree with them. It was very easy to get exotics that didn't feel special. It was very easy to get legendaries. It didn't feel very special. And honestly, armor did not really matter to me nearly as much as it currently does now. So what Bungie did in a lot of ways is better and improves Destiny 2, but it also made it so it's very confusing. I don't know what is supposed to do what here. I don't know if it actually is helping me. I don't know if it's actually hurting me. I can't tell, and it seems like that for a lot of the community. I can tell you the grind is real. That's pretty much it, but I also have only had so much time to grind the Destiny 2 new armor set because, to be completely honest with you, nothing screams boring to me than grinding the same 3 activities over and over again, 4 activities, 5, whatever the hell you want to call it, because we didn't even get a new strike, over and over again, than just trying to get some armor on it. So I went over to Diablo. Diablo's a new game to me, and it seems to kind of have a lot of the same, asset armor situation going on as Destiny 2 does. The main difference is, from what I can tell, is that people can bring you in high-level activities, absolutely wreck whatever bosses are around them, and you get to get extremely good armor. Versus Destiny 2, it doesn't matter how high of the level you're at. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter if you're playing with a person that somehow reached 500 level. You are still going to get the mediocre armor that Bungie decides to hand you. And I think that isn't going to work in the long run. New players are going to want to grind, don't get me wrong, but you know what new players like even better? When they can grind and get the good stuff because of a better player, it keeps them inside the community. Because of a better player, they grind and get the new stuff. That better player helps them rank up and get through things such as dungeons and high level strikes and all of that. And then they continue to play because it's just fun, because now they feel slightly overpowered. And from what we can tell, Bungie's resetting our light levels every season anyway. So this isn't a situation, in my opinion, that really would affect the gameplay loop too much whatsoever. Now, you could say to me, but then everyone would just be 450, and I get where you're coming from. But we're getting reset every season anyway. And with the new seasonal armor situation we have going on, okay, our perks for those armor pieces really only work for those seasons. So the 10% weapon boost you get only for that season, 20% weapon boost, whatever it is, only for that season, for however many pieces you're wearing. When Ash and Iron comes out, those armor pieces are going to be useless again. So you're going to have to regrind all the way up to 200 or wherever you were, just to have the capability to... Or no, you won't have to regrind all the way up to 200, my bad. You have to regrind all the way up to 400. It'll put you down to 200. Just have the capability to use the mods of Advent or boons and all of that over again, just to get a slight boost in damage and so on and so forth. This new armor system is a little bit more complicated than I preferably think it needs to be. I think it was a right step in the proper direction. I think that there's a lot of unanswered questions, though. such as what qualifies you for getting tier 5 armor. I don't know. I'm not sure if anyone else really knows, and I've just been kind of winging it and hoping that it's the Guardian rank and a mix of light level. But to be honest with you, I haven't seen too many results. I've heard plenty of people say that's what it is. I don't know if it's true or not. I honestly am not really sure how long this is sustainable for this game. The fact that you can grind continuously is great and makes the game feel somewhat alive. But when it's the same activities you've been doing for years past, it's not exactly great. To me, what we really only got in this expansion was a campaign and a raid and a few weapons and armor pieces that are like okay. Overall, that's what I expected from this. I knew this was just really going to be a quality of life update. I think they might have turned the knob a little bit too far left though, you know what I mean? They might have just absolutely yanked it over this way and they need to go back to center a little bit more. Overall though, I don't necessarily hate the new armor system. I'm a little bit confused on it still myself, and if I'm confused, there's definitely people out there who are confused. The raw materials we get is simply not enough, and it reminds me of when I wouldn't be able to upgrade my exotic pieces in the Destiny 1 days because I didn't have the damn material. I already used it on everything else. And it seems like it's almost impossible to be able to get enough materials no matter how much you grind that activity or those activities. Yes, I like that you can continuously grind. It's great, but it's just not sustainable. People are eventually going to really not like it, and I already see people not really liking it at all because a lot of their old armor pieces are now useless, which in my opinion, I think we needed. I don't really care what anyone says, we definitely needed a situation where all of our armor pieces were completely reset and invaluable, because a lot of the times, after I got what I would call a quote-unquote God roll armor piece, I would never grind for that armor again. I'd delete 90% of it unless it somehow beat what I had because it was useless. And I guess that's where the fact of the seasonal armor comes in. It forces you to have to grind new pieces for that season for you to get those boosts. But those boosts also don't seem significant enough for you to actually have to do it. I don't know, man. This armor system has me in feeling one of two ways, or well, I guess a few ways, and I kind of don't like it, but I kind of do, but it's very confusing, and I wish Bungie just was a little bit more straightforward with how everything is. Maybe there was a TWAB or something that I missed that it tells us directly how armor and tiers are exactly working, and if that's the case, feel free to drop the link in the comments. You all have a great day, night, and or evening. Peace.